let's talk about this. You know, as a TV station, over the last couple of months, we've committed ourselves to sharing stories and having conversations about how we can all work together to save our streets with all the gun violence.
Philadelphia currently stands at 535 homicides and more than 2,200 shooting victims. In response to these numbers, police and community leaders, they are again organizing a gun buyback event.
Each and every gun turned in is a gun that can no longer wind up involved in a senseless tragedy or become a gun that's lost or stolen on the streets of our city. One gun can change the course of an entire community's trajectory.
Well, so far this year, this particular initiative has netted close to 800 weapons. One of the partners in the initiative is our friend and longtime activist, Bilal. Good to see you again.
It's good to be seen.
And thank you for all the hard work that you've done over the months and years, and especially now, to try to curb all this violence. So let's get the details out right away about the buyback. It is tomorrow.
Yes, it's we will be holding, this will be our 8th buyback this year.
Yeah, this year.
So this is our final buyback. I see it's on the screen. It'll be held at the Holy Ghost Revival Center, which is the Met, a broad and popular. A person can turn in a gun, no questions asked, has to be a working gun, and we give them a $100 gift certificate to ShopRite.
Oh yeah, Jeff Brown and the folks over at ShopRite helping us out.
Since this is the 8th one, how many guns have you guys picked up so far?
It's been over 700 guns.
Yeah.
Yes.
And all types.
Oh yeah, we're getting, people don't realize
Look at 'em.
that we get guns that are automatic, guns.
AKs.
We got an AK 57, whatever it is, I forget the name.
47.
Which is basically could be a very dangerous gun on the streets of Philadelphia. So a lot of the guns we get are good guns. Well, I'm saying good guns, guns that are being used on the streets of the city, and we get in them out of houses where people don't want them in the houses no more. And we encourage parents to do room checks.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the young men that have guns keep their guns in the house. So we encourage parents to do room checks, find those guns, and then come and turn them in. They get a $100 gift certificate.
Commissioner Outlaw yesterday was talking about a 10-year-old boy shot himself with a gun the other day.
Yes.
And she told me that they're closing in about 4,000 guns. Most of them illegal have been taken off the streets of Philadelphia just this year.
Yes.
But there's still tons more out there.
Oh, yes, it's unbelievable the amount of guns on the streets of the city of Philadelphia. And a lot of folks, unfortunately, Mike, are carrying guns because not they intend on shooting you or Howie, but they're scared.
They're scared for their own
So they're
safety.
using it for the protection. But in my position, if you carry a gun, you didn't have intent of using it at some point if something happens. So I suggest folks that just don't carry guns. I mean, the problem we have in America now, in particular in Philadelphia, we got this gun culture. We want to settle all arguments, all disagreements with guns.
Not with your fists anymore.
Not in your fists. I deal with a lot of young men that are on the streets, and I'm in the Juvenile Justice Center weekly dealing with them, and they all tell me they don't fight no more. All the fights are settled with guns. So they all have, they either have a gun or access to guns.
So since you talk with them and you're hearing what that mentality is, how do we change that? How do we combat that? What do you think we should be doing?
It's all about changing the mindset. It's all about creating hope. A lot of these young men in particular don't believe they're going to live beyond the ages of 20, 22. They actually tell me that.
And we've seen that, the number of young people getting shot and killed.
So we have to figure out in our communities, and I'm big on this, and most of the shootings are black folks being shot by black folks. So we in the black community have to take total ownership of this issue. It's not about the mayor, the police commissioner, or the DA. They're going to be elected 2 years from now. We're going to have a different mayor, possibly, hopefully not a new police commissioner.
Yeah, they come and go.
They come and go. So in our community, we got to take ownership. We got to instill in young folks values and hope and give them some faith. A lot of them just don't have hope that they're going to live to be a certain age. That's our challenge that we have to work on.
Yesterday I was reading an article about, speaking of hope, that of the 20 biggest cities in America, Philadelphia has the most poor people.
Yes.
People struggling to have food on the table.
And a lot of that has to do with the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about, white institutional racism. When you lock our population, and particularly the black population in the city of Philadelphia for a number of years, our being included in contract opportunities and job availability, education is a big challenge, as we all know. They're not getting the proper education. So when you create an environment where there's no inclusion, people lose hope and don't think that their life is worth anything. That's what we have to change in the city of Philadelphia.
I can hear some people screaming at the TV, guns don't kill people, people kill people.
Guns, yeah.
You know that line.
But
what
if
do
you
say
have
to that?
Well, the mindset, yes. I grew up in a household where my father was a hunter, and we had he had around 6, 7 guns in my house. But me and my brother knew not even to go near those guns because of the values we were learning as we were growing up in my household and in my community. So we valued life. We valued our parents and listened to our parents. That is something, once again, we got to reinstill today.
That doesn't seem to be happening.
But that's the challenge, Mike. That's the thing that we have to work on. I believe that we could do that. We came to this point from a position of not being be able to have strong families, strong communities. We had them before. I really believe and very optimistic that we can recreate them.
Well, people forget we've been through this before. In 88, 89, in 1990, there were over 500 people were killed too. So we've been through it and made it better before.
I can tell you, I grew up in West Philadelphia. I did a lot of work with the House of Mosher in West Philadelphia. Was one of the main groups stopping gang wars in the 60s and 70s. 1974, with Queen Mother Fatah and her husband Dave Fatah, worked with them. We kicked off the 74 gang war campaign. In 1979, there was 0 gang deaths in the city of Philadelphia. Wow. 0. And we were averaging 80 to 90 gang deaths per year. So that's when the community got involved. We did intervention. We talked about working with young folks. We gave them the hope that I'm talking about. Yeah. And we saw the change. So I believe we could do it.
The crack
epidemic in the 80s and 90s, we were up at 500. People don't talk about it. We were up at 500 murders then. We dropped them. So I think that organizing collectively with communities, with the government, we all could business, the media, because the media is important because a lot of the young folks are involved now because of the social media. A lot of shootings is I'm challenging you on social media. I might not even know you.
That's right.
And then their friends are saying, well, you can't let Howie talk about you.
You embarrass me in front of millions.
You got to challenge it. So how do I challenge it? I'm using a gun to solve that problem.
The buyback is tomorrow.
It is tomorrow. Well, what are the times again?
10 to 2.
10 to 2.
The Met, Broad and Poplar.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me on.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
We'll be right back.